Okay, so the dough overnight did a bulk rise. This is how big and bubbly it is now. And we're gonna shape it. I don't know if it's fully risen, but we're just gonna shape it now because that's the only time I have today. So we're gonna take the flour and put some on, like, I have a seal pat. If you clean your counters well enough, then you can just put it straight onto the counter, but I'm gonna use a seal pat or a roll pat or anything you have. So just kind of lightly dust it with flour, get a nice little layer so it doesn't stick too much. And we're gonna dump out the dough from in here in onto the seal pat. All right, so you may wanna get some flour in your hands and go in and grab it and get it out there. Grab it gently. You don't want to like tear too much of it. I mean, it's impossible that you're not going to tear any of it, but do your best. You can also use like a bench scraper. That kind of helps it be a little bit more gentle. So if you own a bench scraper, it's kind of like a flat-sided thing with a round-ish sided thing. That can be helpful. Oh yeah, that's helping the dough come out a lot nicer. I'm just gonna plop that big old ball of dough onto your floured surface. And you can get it all out. Okay, cool. All right. And if there's any that are still kind of stuck in your bowl or container, just add it right back to the top. Now, this big old ball of dough, we're going to do one more final kind of like tuck and fold. Or it's, you know, we did the stretch and fold before, but this time we're going to do a fold and kind of tuck it. So we create that loaf shape. All right. So you will grab one of the ends and pick it up and fold it over. And you'll grab another one of the ends, like directly across from it, pick it up and fold it over. And then what you're going to do is you're going to grab another end like here, and you're going to pick it up and kind of start rolling it. And then tuck that in and roll it and tuck it in and roll it and tuck it in and roll it and tuck it in. Now you have somewhat of a ball, and you're just going to kind of like, well, you can tuck in these ends and tuck in this end. You're going to now start to like grab it and roll it as you kind of pull it and tuck the ends under. Just kind of grab and roll in a kind of a circle, and you're grabbing it in like in a direction towards you, because you essentially want to take the seams at the bottom and kind of like seal them up. That's what you're doing here. So you're gonna keep rolling. So it's kind of sticking a little to your surface, which is a good thing because that's what's making it kind of tighten in on itself. If you're noticing, the ball is getting tighter, and that's a good thing. By now you should feel that there's some kind of bubbles. Now, I don't think I necessarily let the sourdough get to full strength because I only gave it 2 feedings. I really should have given it 3 because it didn't bulk rise quite as much as I'm used to when I give it the full 3 feedings. But this will just be a slightly denser bread with less big, giant sourdough holes, which is fine because I still have my starter and I can just keep feeding it and make another one. Okay, so some recipes say to let it bench rest for 10 minutes before you put it into the proofing basket. I don't usually because it takes me a little while to prepare the proofing towel. So you can actually take your same tea towel that you used for covering your bowl, and put some flour right in the center. Flour scoop. And, well, maybe that's a lot too much flour. Put it, and then you just kind of mush it into the tea towel so that you just don't want the bread to stick to the towel, and just spread that out. A nice round little spot where your bread's gonna sit. I'm gonna make sure that's well floured. And you can take any bowl. So I have here a mixing bowl, and I'm just gonna put that, so you can see. I'm gonna put this towel now into the mixing bowl. Push that down. And then I'm gonna lift up my loaf. Get your hands a little bit floured. And actually you can put some flour on top of it from the sides of your steel pat, because you just don't want the loaf to stick to the towel. So get it a little coating of flour. If you want, you can dust off some on top. There we go. All right. This is where your bench scraper is super helpful to grab your dough. I don't know where my bench scraper went. That's weird. Oh, it's in my container. Okay, so you want to grab it and like kind of scoop under and pick it right up and put it in the bowl. Now it's in the bowl. Again, you can dust a little on the top with flour. Just make sure you just don't want your towel to stick. Lightly spread that with your fingers, and maybe a little more flour along the edge of the edges if you have any non-floured surfaces of the tea towel. And then you're going to fold it over very gently. You don't want to like do a hard tuck, like you don't want to do a tight tuck. And do a very gentle fold over. And you're now just going to stick this bowl straight into your fridge, because a fridge proofing is much more forgiving. So what happens is if you do a regular proofing, like in the regular room temperature, it's going to, it'll get bigger, which is what you want it to do, but then at a certain point you can accidentally let it overproof, and then that's not good. But it's really hard to tell the difference. Like they have things like the finger poke test, and if you don't know what you're looking for, it's really hard to tell. So I do the fridge proofing. I mean, sometimes I did the regular room temp proofing once, but it's also harder to cut or to score at the top before you put it in the oven, because it's all soft and squishy. If you put it in the fridge, it gets a little bit tighter and harder, and when you go to cut it, it's really easy to cut into it because it's just a nice hard or solid-ish ball. So just stick this in your fridge for anywhere from 5 up to 36 hours. I'm gonna do mine for a little over 12 hours because I'm planning on cooking it tomorrow morning. So that's when I'll be back, and that's when we're gonna stick it in the oven. So now it's going into the fridge, and I'll check in with you tomorrow morning for the next steps. All right, see ya.